and I'm beginning to think it's not coming. I don't know.
What makes you think that? I think, isn't there like an adult?
I'm going to pretend that I know what you're talking about.
I hate... Oh, you haven't seen Harry Potter either? What the hell? Are you serious?
Yeah.
You haven't seen Harry Potter?
I've seen the Harry Potter land that they're building at
what
Universal Studios. No.
the fuck?
No. I don't know.
All right, I don't even want to talk to you today. Lee, what's up? How was your weekend?
I'm doing good. I've been working out a lot, so it's been good.
Yeah.
Kettlebells, right?
Right, I've been doing kettlebells. I did it 4 times last week, which is crazy.
Nice.
I saw your video yesterday. You swing.
Can you lift your arms? Are you like...
Oh no, today I'm fine. My legs the past couple days were killing me, and
Nice.
I never really understood it, but everyone says, "Oh, it's a good." And I didn't like how sore I was, but I just started laughing.
Yeah.
Because I got out of bed and I was just walking to my bathroom like a crazy person.
It was like sitting on the toilet, that space in between, like the squat where you're like,
down.
It wasn't my thighs; it was more my calves.
So
I started,
nice.
I just started making weird old man noises, like.
But do you love how it feels? Like, it's different from being sore from something bad. Like, when you're sore from working out, you're like, this sucks, but this is awesome.
No, I still don't like it.
Really?
I love the classes I'm doing. I don't like being sore. It's fun though.
I make old lady noises
For
all
sure.
the time, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Really? What
Welcome,
are
welcome
yours?
to the party.
Yeah.
What are your part? Like
Usually right before I go to roll and I'm kneeling down, my knees. I'm just like, I'm like, okay. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, for me, it's my lower back getting out of bed. You know your back is jacked up when getting out of bed after you've been, relaxed for the last 8 hours is the most painful part for you.
Oh, it's
You're
the
like,
worst. Especially when I went to bed, I didn't feel in pain, and then
you wake up and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Even in bed, you feel fine, and then the first movement out of bed.
Yeah, no, my back's jacked up. It hurts all the time, but yeah.
I twisted the other day to get out of to reach for something on the ground next to my bed, and
You're
literally
like,
I was
too
like,
far, too
"Whoa,
far."
slow down, it's too early,
Too far.
too early." Back almost went out.
All right, what'd you do, Beck?
I worked, as I always do on the weekends, but I actually went out on Friday night.
Ooh, where'd you go? What'd you do? Who'd you see?
Not calm down. I went to a shithole in Reseda.
Is that the name of the bar?
We might as well be. That's really how fantastic it is. And got some good pickup lines, though. All from the same guy.
Please, let me get my pen. Share. Go ahead.
So the first one, I didn't even realize was a pickup line. He actually pointed it out to me was, "You look like my ex-wife."
Oh, okay.
That was kind of the look I had was, I don't really know how I should respond. Is that good? Is that bad?
Do you want to punch me? What?
Clearly you have a type. I mean, I don't know. And then the other one, he kept asking me if I was part Native American. And I was like, I'm not. I know where I'm from, but okay.
Yeah.
But he was like, "I bet you are. I bet you're part Cherokee."
Oh.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
He's like, "Have you ever done one of those DNA like mouth swab tests?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "You should do one." I'm like, "No, I shouldn't actually, but okay."
You're like, my family's from Cuba. I'm good.
Yeah. I'm like, I think there's some Portuguese in me somewhere. That's the extent of it. And he goes, "How about we exchange numbers? You go do one of those DNA tests, and if I'm wrong, I buy you dinner." And I was like, I caught that one.
Yeah.
I mean, that one was a little more obvious than "you look like my ex-wife," but I was like,
You should be like, yeah, how do these work out for you?
I think I saw that in a movie once.
Yeah.
Not to put him on blast, but I think it's in a movie. It's like you do something that you know you're going to lose. So
Right.
You get
Oh,
You know
yeah,
it if
yeah,
I'm wrong.
totally.
Oh, for sure. It's probably
no.
in that book, The Pickup Artist. It's, the guy that has all the rules for how to, guys, when they, what's it called? When they, like, insult a woman and then there's some...
like negative compliments?
Yes.
backhanded compliments.
Yeah. And there's the peacocking. I've never read the book, but I'm slightly familiar with it.
Peacocking is a thing?
Yeah, so, like, when guys go out and they wear, like, a big belt buckle or like, something flashy, like Ed Hardy shirts are peacocking. Does anybody wear those anymore? Did I just...
Unfortunately, I think they
I
do.
totally saw one not too long ago.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, somebody, I don't know,
pretty sure
somebody who knows what I'm talking about, tell us, because I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure he had studs on his pants.
Oh,
Jeans,
yeah,
too.
you know he did.
You know that goes with
he
it.
did. Yeah.
So.
And he probably wore way too much cologne.
Oh. All right, so that was fun bashing time. Next, well, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. It was chill.
Yeah.
On Saturday night, as you might remember,
I do.
I have some friends that came over, and we took us a long time, but we started a bonfire in my backyard. We have a fire pit. We just didn't start a fire. And then
eventually you did.
Yeah, and then we watched The Lost Boys outside. We screened it on the wall. It was awesome.
I was the loser that had to leave by like 10:30.
It's okay.
Is The Lost Boys scary?
No.
Okay.
No.
I mean, if
just the way you said it sounded
no,
scary.
because it's from the 80s, and it was when I was a kid that we used to watch. It was totally scary when I was a kid. Now it's just awesome. Yeah.
It'd still probably be scary to me.
Not really.
I'm a huge door.
No, I don't like scary movies.
Me either.
I hate movies that make me stressed. Like
What's
if
wrong with
I
you
clench
people?
my teeth. Shut up! You haven't seen anything. I don't want to talk to you about movies.
That's different. That's genres of movies.
I don't like movies that stress me out. Like if I have to clench my teeth and I get, I
the
hate
best.
that. No, I don't like to be stressed. No.
My girlfriend loves them too, and I went and saw The Conjuring, and I had to go sit down. You know how they have stacks of child seats at the movie theater. So like you could, I sat down on a stack of it. I couldn't handle it. There was a guy sitting next to me with his girlfriend. And he was scared, and I was scared, and the girls just were sitting next to each other, and they just started laughing.
So were you like by the door so that you can leave?
Oh no, I'm saying when I left the movie theater. Like,
He had to take a moment. He had to take a moment. He had to take a moment to get over it.
I thought you were watching it from the corner so that in case you had to bolt out. It's just too
No.
much. I
Do
gotta
you watch
go.
it like this, Lee?
pretty much, yep.
I don't like movies
like
that
it.
stress me. No, I like drama and I like action movies.
I like action.
You don't like comedy?
Before drama.
I like
Sure,
comedy.
I mean, but if there's if there's
Comedy's
a good
a given.
drama, if there's a good drama and a good action movie and a comedy, and we're all choosing, comedy's my last pick. I always go for the action or the drama, like something meaty first. To me, comedy isn't meaty.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I look at like my favorite movies are comedies.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I was looking at it. That's why I like comedies. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
I see where you're going
Sure.
with that. Especially comedies nowadays.
Yeah.
I saw the worst movie of my life. The
Oh,
other day.
please do tell.
London is falling, or London has fallen.
Somebody else said something about that, but I'm not familiar.
It was literally the worst movie I've ever seen.
Tell us about it. Who's in it?
Gerard Butler. There's a lot of people in it. It's like it's kind of like a remake, like White House Down, whatever was on. It was a couple years ago. It's a sequel, but it was just
Like a terrorist are taking over London, and one man against all of them he's the only one that can
He's
save
gonna
it.
save everything.
pretty much. But like not. But then it's like it gets into like really. Oh, sorry. Oh, one camera. It gets into like the way wrong. Like it's just I'm not. Spoiler alert! If you're gonna watch it, which I don't recommend, but at the end he's beating up a terrorist, and he's like, "All you terrorists are the same. You think one building means something? We're America."
Oh my God!
He literally goes into like a 2-minute speech about America,
Jeez.
and I'm just,
Oh, jeez.
I'm in there just laughing my ass off because I'm one of 3 people, and I'm just laughing so hard now because it was terror, and then the people who did the explosions, I think, if you haven't worked in TV, sometimes what they'll do is they'll do like a temp one, they'll do
they'll build a scale model.
well,
and
not even a scale model, but they'll just put it in like a temp picture, a temp whatever, temp artwork.
Like the green screen.
No, just just so they know what it's supposed to look like,
Oh,
but they're
I
gonna
see.
go in there later and fix it.
Oh,
But they just didn't do that with this one. They were just like, it's good enough. Like you could just
Wow, really?
you could
Like
just,
an intern grabbed it. Just put that in there.
it just,
Wow.
It just looked like nothing was exploding, and then there was just fire coming. It was just terrible.
Wow.
I was a little bit stoned, but it was still pretty bad.
I was like that in what are the sparkly vampires?
Oh God.
Twilight.
Twilight. Okay, so
yeah.
me and my girlfriend went to go see it. I was in Arizona, and we're
would you
in.
do that?
Oh, you have to. They're so bad. You have to.
No,
go see
no.
them. Yeah. So we're sitting there and we're watching it, and all these girls in the movie theater are like hearts coming out of their eyes, and we're just disgusted in the back. And there's the one line that the sparkly Edward tells Bella, "This is a motherfucking 100-year-old man. Think about it. Like, he's a vampire. He's in a 17-year-old boy's body, but he's a 100-year-old man, and he's in love with a 17-year-old girl now. But here's the best. Like, nothing else exists now that the 17-year-old girl exists." And he like bends down to her, and he's like, "You are my life now. You're just like, what?
If you were 100 and got a 17-year-old guy, you'd probably do the same thing. Like a 17-year-old girl to a 100-year-old guy.
Wow.
It's just so bad.
I mean, that's probably what would actually happen, though.
I
mean, imagine a 100-year-old man.
I used to love working in a movie theater. I worked the midnight opening of
I thought that was awesome.
Of the what is it called? Sex and the City movie. And I worked at a theater that had a bar, so they were giving out Cosmos, and middle-aged women were hammered.
Yeah,
totally.
And they were having such a good time. Like I had flowers on my shirt.
She's like, I may have been one of them.
I may have been one of those people. Yeah.
Having the best time.
I may have been in a group of women that drank a whole bunch of wine and then went to go see that movie.
Hey, me too. Oh, no, we did Cosmos. Yeah. Not at the movie theater.
Me and my best friend Tiffany, we were just like the ladies from Sex and the City that remember that one line like, oh, why did we start drinking these Cosmos? Because everybody else did. That's totally us. Because everybody else started.
That was the last
shout out to Tiffany.
Wasn't that the last episode
something
of the
like
show
that.
or something?
It was either that or it was in the movie or something.
Or at the end of the movie, something like that. Yeah.
Anyway,
so guess what?
tell me.
I signed up for my first tournament.
Yay, cue the applause. Are you all the nervous?
I had my first little meltdown last week. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
I might have been there.
Yeah.
That comes with the territory.
I don't know how I feel right now because I keep thinking about how I'm going to feel that day.
There's no way you can know how you're going to feel.
Well, I mean, I've competed in the past. Not
was somebody trying to kill you?
No.
Okay.
But it was also by I was all eyes on me.
Right.
It was kind of that kind of situation.
Was somebody
there
trying to break
wasn't
your
other
arm?
fight, other matches going on around me. No, but I had to do jumps and spins and not fall on my ass.
That's true.
While everyone's watching the one person out there. So, I mean, there's certain differences.
I think you'll be fine. I think that all of your knowing you and seeing a lot of people prepare for a competition, I think that a lot of the nerves come up beforehand. Not knowing is always the scariest part, not knowing what to expect.
Well, Becky, why don't you say like what you're most nervous about, and then Donna, you've competed before.
I have.
So why don't you do that? So Becky, what are you most nervous about?
That's the thing, is that I don't really know what I'm nervous about. I almost feel like I'm gonna wake up on Sunday and go over there and I'm just gonna be like whatever. Exactly.
Well, you are gonna, because that's kind of how you roll. But
maybe like right before. I don't know. I don't know.
I think people are afraid of what they don't know, because here's the truth. It's an awesome sport. Everybody competing is there for the same reasons, because they love the sport and it's awesome. And the very worst thing that happens, is an injury, but that doesn't happen often. So usually the very worst thing that happens is you get tapped out and you've just learned a lesson.
Right.
Oh, I don't want to get caught in a triangle again. I've never had a bad experience at a competition. I've only ever experienced really cool opponents and really passionate people who want to throw this competition for people and are there for the love of the sport. Obviously, they're not making millions of dollars. They're there for the love of the sport.
We're paying to be there.
Yeah, and no, but even the people throwing it, it's not like they're making millions of dollars, throwing this competition. Sure. They've probably lost money buying mats and buying signs, you know what I mean? And I've worked on competitions before, and I think that the anticipation of not knowing what's going to happen, like just even before you have a role in class, sometimes there's a lot of anticipation before that because it's exciting. So I think what you're feeling and maybe what people are mistaking for nervousness is just really exciting to be doing the thing, because this is the thing that you do. We practice to compete. So you're doing the thing that we practice to do.
Yeah.
And being nervous and being excited feel exactly the same, except for your state of mind. Mm-hmm. So I feel like maybe that's what people feel and mistake it for being nervous.
I only did one tournament in my
What was your experience?
Well, I had bronchitis. I had the beginning of bronchitis, and then as I walked in, this dude was coming into the locker room because he had just dislocated either his elbow or his shoulder.
Oh, dear.
So
I
was walking into this a little bit scared, and then I was also, I've lost some weight, but I was in the middle. It was a small tournament, so I'm 225, and the next lowest was like 185, and
so it's a huge.
So I did So I was going against people who were like 290,
Yeah.
like 300. So I got destroyed both matches.
Yeah.
But it was that one day was the most fun I ever had doing jiu-jitsu.
Let me ask you this. After you had your first match, I feel like, okay, maybe this is just my experience and maybe other people feel this too. So going into the first match, that's where the nerves are. That's where you're like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to perform. And then as soon as that match is over, whatever happens, you jump up from that match and you're just like, give me another one. Rah! Like, it doesn't matter if you just won or not. Like, that's where you've just dumped all your adrenaline.
Yeah.
You've experienced it. You've gotten the high off of it. And now whatever might have been going through your head, whatever like self-fuckery that you might have been, going through, you've passed it. And now you just saw how fun it was. And now that is the live experience of what you practice for in class.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
Yeah.
Because I was frustrated with jiu-jitsu because I was rolling and I was learning all this stuff, but it didn't mean anything.
How do you apply it?
And then I was at this tournament and I got destroyed, but it was like, okay, I actually there's an ending to this. Like, it's when you're just drilling, it's like, oh, I'm just drilling and drilling and drilling. And
so now
like,
you had a conclusion.
Yeah.
And you walked away with lessons even if you got destroyed, right?
Yeah, that I needed to lose weight.
That's a lesson.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a lesson. And whatever lesson you walk away from, if you don't walk away from a loss with the lesson, then you completely miss the point. And as long as you had fun, if you're not one of the people, the unlucky percentage that gets hurt in a tournament, which is going to happen in this sport, not only are you going to get hurt, but you are going to hurt somebody at some point in your training, and it's all part of the lesson, and you learn how to be a better partner when that happens, and you learn how to protect yourself and tap early and all the things that come along with preventing injuries, and you also learn to accept, hey, I'm in a really dangerous sport. But if you don't take those lessons, then you're completely missing the point. And it's all of it's the point. The competition is the point, the training is the point, the having fun is the point, the having your hand raised is the point, the losing is the point. It's all part of like loving this sport.
I just heard a story this morning of a friend that
once upon a time
broke someone's arm yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's horrible to hurt
and it was
somebody.
training.
Yeah.
It was in training. The guy just
it's a horrible feeling.
Broke his arm apparently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I feel like, I imagine, I don't know, until I see my opponent, then I feel like that's where the nerves are going to kick in. Because then I'm going to be looking at them like
what can I do with her?
Yeah, measuring them up and like,
Sure.
What is she going to try and do? What do I know to either counter or what can I do to her? I don't know.
Yeah.
I imagine that's where the nerves are going to be once I see her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a game plan? Like, I want to start with this move, or you don't even know until you see what your opponent does?
I was working on takedowns yesterday because
you got to
I
go
need
from
to.
standing to being on the mat.
Because we're going to start standing. So I worked on some takedowns and learned a couple of cool things that I'm going to definitely be drilling this week.
Nice.
But I did learn some wrestling stuff, some half guard transitions into dogfight and some stuff from there that I enjoyed, that I want to work on also, that I think I want to make part of like just my game in general.
Will be a good way to figure out what kind of game plan you want to have when you compete.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a funny story about my first competition. I was a white belt. Nobody told me that you had to start on your feet, because I'd only ever started on my knees in class. Like, nobody prepped me for anything. They were just like, competition, sign up, and I was like, yeah, I'll show up. So we did.
I'd never been to
a competition. I've never nothing. Oh. I went in completely blind.
Did you like go in there and like sit down?
Yeah. I went in and sat down. I'm like, let's go. And they were like, you got to stand up. And I was like, oh. Nobody told me that. And I don't think my opponent, anybody told her that either. We were both just kind of like, okay. We were just kind of like both like just messing with each other. And then finally everybody was like screaming and they were like, Donna, grab her! And so I just grabbed her and I jumped on her back, and somehow we ended up on the ground.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
But I remember like Cade and Connor, Donna, just grab her!
Oh, that's amazing.
It was awesome. I was like, oh, well, that's good to know for the future.
Is there any suggestions or anything you feel I should know before going into a first tournament? Things that I may not even be aware of?
Okay, so you have to start off standing.
Thank you.
Let's get that out of the way.
I've actually watched a few tournaments, so I had that idea.
No, I think you're pretty well prepared. I think that don't take the weight cut too seriously. You're already so close, so don't do anything crazy.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean? Honestly, just enjoy the moment. You're never going to have your first jiu-jitsu competition again, and it's not a big deal. None of it is. Like, of course, everybody wants their hands raised at the end, but it's not a big deal because then you're going to come back and be like, all right, this is what happened. I'm never going to get tapped out that way again. And then you're just going to go hard in class. And then the next competition you do, you're never going to get tapped out that way again. So, no, I think just knowing the rules and being fully prepared and just being there in the moment, going to be awesome. Yeah. What's something you wish somebody would have told you coming into jiu-jitsu as a sport that, like, later you were like, oh, like, that's something that I would totally share with somebody coming into the sport?
As much as we keep saying, or everyone says, check your ego, it never happens.
It's an ongoing lesson for all of us, sure.
It is.
Yeah.
But it does. It'll always be there in some capacity. Some people more than others.
We all battle with it. I don't know anybody. And that, when I say, like, enjoy, nobody likes to lose. I've never walked off of a mat losing a competition and been like, well, that was awesome that I just got tapped out.
I know one person that we train with that somehow can stay bright and cheery. And maybe inside she's probably like, that sucked. But she's...
Is her name Kita?
Her name is Kita.
Yeah, she's been an athlete her whole life. So I think she's a perfect example. Kita loves to win, and she wins a lot. But when she loses, she takes it in stride.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Even in class.
That was what makes a good sportsman.
100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I tapped her out last week, and she got him. She was like, good job. And I was like, thanks.
Exactly. That's exactly what she does, and I love it.
Yeah, and when she taps me out, she's just as humble.
I need to learn from her.
For sure.
For sure.
But yeah, I think that's a lesson that you can look from a lot of people who are veterans in the sport. And again, I'm not really a fan, but Conor McGregor took his loss like a man. And I respect him for that. And I think that when you see people take their losses well and walk away from the lesson and just respect their opponent for getting the better of them at that moment, I think that makes you a better person in general. So yeah, there's a great lesson. Check your ego, and you're going to get it repeatedly checked over and over and over and over again. Yeah, I think that's a huge lesson to take away from. I think the other one is what I mentioned earlier. If we were going to give somebody a list of what to expect when you join jiu-jitsu, there's a list of things. Maybe not at the top is you're going to get injured. At some point,
100%.
Some part of your body is going to be in pain and injured, and either you suck it up, and obviously if it's broken you can't train, but you're going to get injured and you're going to injure somebody, and those are all just part of the lessons of becoming a good person in jiu-jitsu and a good teammate and knowing when to tap. You know what I mean? If you don't tap and you get hurt, that is not your partner's fault. That is your fault.
That comes with the ego.
Yeah.
That comes with the ego. I mean,
that is 100% your fault. If somebody has you in a fully sunken submission and they're not being a dick and they're not like yanking it and going 100% into it and they're just holding it and looking at you and like slowly
tap, motherfucker.
Tap, dude, because that's your fucking fault if you get hurt at that point. And I have zero, sympathy for you because you caused that injury. Take responsibility for it. Yeah. There's that.
What was your guys' first injuries? Do you remember?
Oh, jeez. My first injury?
Yeah.
In jiu-jitsu?
I imagine, well, I don't know, something in my neck. And not necessarily that it was an injury, just fucking pain that was hindering me.
Yeah. I came in with a knee thing from Muay Thai. And I think I re-injured it one day doing a warm-up for jiu-jitsu. And then that's become a reoccurring issue in my life.
My neck is constant.
Yeah. And my hip, my back, my right hip,
my knee,
back
my
area.
hip, my back, my neck, my foot.
You constantly
my
break
elbow.
Toes. Yeah. I think I have little fat feeties and my pinky toe sticks out.
Oh no.
not sticks out, but it's like you've
but
seen it. It's like it's a little fat feet.
Does it latch onto?
No, it's just separate. So whenever I roll with anybody wearing gi pants,
It latches.
it latches, and I have broken my pinky toe more times than I can count. I think for 5 months straight once, I had a broken toe. I just had a broken toe, and that was just life.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I just stubbed my big toe a couple weeks ago. I think like on the mat during a live roll, and it was fine. It like hurt for a few minutes. It was fine, but now it's been like a couple days every week, something will happen where I can kind of feel it.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe the biggest note to give people coming into the sport is be prepared to be frustrated on all levels. Be prepared to be frustrated with your ego, with your body. Your body's going to want, it's counterintuitive. A lot of the things that we do. So you're going to get super frustrated that your body's not doing the thing that you want it to do. Your flipping toes are going to get caught under people. Your fingers are going to get caught under people. Your arm is going to get caught under people. Like everything, I know, this is such a great sport. Everything is going to frustrate you.
And for the first year,
just
know that you're going to be learning how to defend.
But for some reason, it's totally worth it. And it's so much fun.
Well, because eventually you get out of that first year or whatever time it takes you to not just be defending, and then you get your first tap.
You get your first tap and you're like,
yeah! You feel like king of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Or queen of the world.
Totally worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100% chance of injury.
I think your priorities change. Like for girls, maybe like I don't know if any ladies got their nails done before they started doing jiu-jitsu, but slowly your nails start to go down, and you don't want any nails, so you don't hurt your opponents, and you don't wear as much makeup because then it's going to get all over everybody when you roll. Yeah, and what's the point? And everybody I know who has started the sport, who maybe had a little bit of a party social circle when they started, that party social circle becomes not your friends, but the partying part becomes less and less important because you want to be in better shape for jiu-jitsu. When you show up hungover, when you show up not feeling well because you were tired and partying all weekend, then you suck and you get your ass kicked. So now going into the weekend, you're like, how much rest can I get? How can I refresh my body? How can I be prepared to kick ass on Monday when I get back on the mats? And I think your priorities change, where you spend your money. You're like, well, I could do that, or I could buy a new rash guard.
Or this school just released a pretty awesome rash guard, and I kind of want it.
Or I could do this tournament. I don't know. Look where all my money's going. Yeah.
I no longer. Well, I very, very rarely wear a regular bra.
That's true.
It's all sports bras.
All sports bras.
It's just easier.
All sports bras. All fight shirts. I'm always repping 10th Planet in some way or another. I'm wearing Smoke Serpent right now.
Nice.
What up? Yeah, I'm always... my friend Amy used to tease me. She's like, you are a walking advertisement for 10th Planet. Everywhere you go.
What's wrong with that?
Right. I always have a hoodie on. And Jonathan's always wearing like a hat or some kind of 10th Planet shirt.
This is true. This is very true. What else? I think flexibility is important.
Ooh, yeah.
Stretching and flexibility. And I mean, maybe for us it's more because of 10th Planet, but I think in general in jiu-jitsu I think it's still good.
Any
because you're getting because it's not just move positions that we put ourselves into intentionally.
It's positions somebody else puts you in.
Exactly.
You're like, oh,
exactly. and the flexibility can sometimes help with that.
Or all the time help with that. Yeah.
So
absolutely. And it helps prevent injuries.
Work on the flexibility, work on just be able to get...
You also get used to sweaty people being all up in your face. Like the day I knew that there was a moment, I was a white belt and I obviously knew nothing, and there was a moment that one of the guys was showing me a move and he had to be in mount at the time. I honestly don't even remember what it was, but a drop of his sweat fell off of his face and hit me in my face, and I was just like, oh.
At least it was just on your face and not in your mouth.
It might have been even someplace grosser. I just remember having this conversation in my head, like, all right, dude, you are committed to learning this sport, so this is something that you're just going to have to go with and accept that, like, people's sweat is going to like the day that you pull somebody else's hair out of your mouth and you're like, oh shit. And I'm a person that's cool with bodies. I was a massage therapist for 15 years before I started doing jujitsu. Like, I'm cool with bodies. Bodies don't freak me out. But pulling somebody's hair out of your mouth is a whole different experience in life.
Usually, if I'm pulling it out thinking, please be mine.
Yes.
Please be mine. And I look at it, I'm like,
it's bright red, and you realize it's Lila's.
That's Lila's hair.
Or you're like, or you're wiping sweat off, and you're like, oh, I hope that's my sweat that's in my eye right now.
Or I pull out the hair, and it's, you know, curly hair or something. I'm like, that's not
disgusting.
my hair. It's not curly.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna hope that.
I don't know how you like prepare yourself. How do you take a person? You're like, I want to sell you this awesome sport. It's gonna be badass. You're gonna be like, you know, like tapping motherfuckers out.
Long term, it will be badass.
But what you need to prepare yourself for is another person's sweat drop going straight into your mouth.
You're gonna be in pain.
Can you handle that?
You're
gonna also being in a triangle for the first time is a whole new experience for getting up and close and personal with your friends.
Oh God. Oh.
If you ever like go into your consciousness, like right in that moment that you're trying to escape a triangle, and if you let your brain go, then you're like, look, dude, I am up in this person's crotch. That's not where you want to be. You just need to be like, escape, escape, escape.
We were doing something the other day, and I think I was with Lila or Jen, and I was like, my face is in your ass right now. Was it
that
you?
was me.
Okay, I was like, my face.
You're like, hey, what's up? I'm in your butt.
This is your ass and your everything right here in my face.
Yeah. Did you guys know that me and Becky are married in some countries? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because so there's when Becky's really good at heel hooks. I don't know if anybody's heard that mentioned before, but she's really good at heel hooks. And so to defend against them, you push your foot against her body.
The free foot you use
a free foot to push against her to get away from her holding your foot. Well, usually the best spot for me to place my foot is right in between her legs, and there's been a time
you're going for an ass cheek.
You're going for an ass cheek, but I'm aiming just to get you off of me.
Right, you're not.
So there's been a time or two that my toes may have gone in further than one intended.
Yeah,
we're married in some countries.
Yep.
What does that feel like? What is that like?
She let go of the heel hook.
She got out, so she got what she wanted. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm married to you and maybe two other people now. Yeah, we're all like sister wives now.
Something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, there's been some toes that have tried to.
I believe guys call it checking the oil. I think ladies need to call it like a tampon or something.
Well, I mean,
does it happen to guys? I've never.
Yeah, it's called checking the oil.
Technically, the checking the oil,
but it's usually with the hand. Like it's a wrestling term,
and it's the
you go.
Ass.
Yeah, well, you go like I've done it where you reach under there, but I've never had anyone like.
Well, I didn't intentionally put my foot in there.
No, it wasn't.
It just kind of happened when I was trying to escape.
She's trying to push off my butt or something, but she's not really focused on where her foot is placed. Yeah. So maybe the foot is on my butt, but the toes kind of.
Yeah.
Or on a thigh, or I don't know.
Look at Lee's face.
I'm just trying to imagine how they snuck in there. Like,
we'll show you afterwards, Lee.
Perfect. Okay. Wow. That's what you could do in the tournament. Just do that.
There you go, Beck. Give up the heel hook, and
she can't heel hook me, so
it would straight ankle lock you, right? Give up the straight ankle lock.
I'm not going to use that same escape then. I wouldn't. But maybe if I'm, able to defend it for a little bit, I'll just, play around.
I hope other people
I'll play around down there.
Little toe dance.
Oh, the humanity.
I hope everybody home is as entertained as we are entertaining ourselves right now. Oh, my parents will be so proud.
What? So, I, of course, I told my mom about the tournament, and it's right down the street from where she lives.
Is she gonna come?
I mean, I hope so. That's why I told her.
She's not the biggest jiu-jitsu fan.
Well, her first question was, will I be able to bear to watch?
You're not getting punched in the face. It's not that bad.
That you and I understand that. She doesn't.
All right.
In her mind, I probably am getting punched in the face.
Well, if it'll help, I'll punch you in the face before you go on the mats, and so when she sees what you're doing on the mats, then it'll be so much less.
Don't punch me in the face. Please don't.
Me punching you in the face.
Yeah, her first question was, am I going to be able to bear to watch this? I'm like, I'm sure you'll be
You're
fine.
gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
So
It's gonna be awesome.
we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I have a request. Somebody wants us to talk about taking care of our laundry.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu laundry.
Yes.
So the best method is, first of all, no fabric softener. Absolutely no fabric softener in any of your spats or rash guards. And here's why, in case anybody's wondering.
I am.
It coats it in a, like, it's soft. The reason it gets everything soft is because it coats it in a material, but it also takes its ability away to wick away any sweat and wetness. So if you are using fabric softener, you're basically taking the job away from your rashi and your spats. So you don't want to do that. You want to wash it in something like Tide Sport or another maybe socially responsible soap. I know Tide isn't socially responsible. You want to wash it in
I like that. Socially responsible.
Socially responsible. They hiss on animals, in case anybody wonders what that means. So use a detergent. Also get some OxyClean. Throw that bad boy in there. You might want to soak it in vinegar.
To soak it in OxyClean before.
You can do both. I just put a scoop in with my laundry, but you can also soak it. You can also soak it in diluted vinegar and water. Just put some in the sink, throw, a half a cup of vinegar in and let everything soak. You know the smell that rashis pick up when you've been sweating, like you've worn them multiple times and you just can't get that smell out?
Yeah, no matter how many times you wash it.
Vinegar. It's time for vinegar. So that's when you do that.
Isn't the OxyClean good for that?
Yes, they're both good for that. But sometimes you need to go to the vinegar. Sometimes that's the only way to go and get that smell out. Right. You should hang it up ideally. If not, it should be on low heat. And definitely no fabric sheets either.
Yeah, that's what I use as fabric sheets. Not. Okay.
Don't do it, Becky.
Yes.
Don't.
Okay, got it.
All right.
So like what?
No more.
My mic just went dead. Sorry about that. Keep going. I'll come back.
Okay. Now my mic's off. My mic's off.
I'm not. So
we'll keep talking.
All right then.
All right, I'm back.
What else? What else do we need to know then before we start?
About laundry? Hang up your rash guards and your spats as soon as you leave the gym.
Oh yeah.
When you get home, hang those bad boys up. Do not leave them sitting in your bag overnight.
I live in an apartment. I have to pay to use the washer and dryer, so it's not easy for me to just come home. But you can
hang them up.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing is don't just throw them. Also, don't throw them in a hamper or something right away.
For sure.
Hang that shit up. Let it dry out. Yes, you still need to wash it, please. Yeah. But let that shit dry out. Don't let it get all mildewy.
We have a guy that washes his rash guards in the sink at the gym.
I saw.
He's there.
So what is it like wrong with somebody who has like a stinky rat? Like, would you just
Dude, it gets on you.
It's fucking disgusting.
You walk away smelling like them. So when you're smelly and you roll with somebody, you walk away smelling like them, and then everybody thinks you're disgusting. It's gross.
I've gotten that with the BO.
Yeah.
I'll end up like, we're drilling stuff and we have to switch partners, and suddenly I end up with someone that I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, this motherfucker stinks.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I'm done, I'm like,
and some material is just not good. Like all cotton, not good to roll in.
Hate when people
you need
wear
some
t-shirts.
of the spandex and like whatever the material rash guards are made out of. You need something with that kind of Under Armour wicking away like material.
Spandex.
Yeah,
they're like spandex and polyester.
Yeah, you need that.
What's wrong with t-shirts?
Cotton. It just smells. It doesn't hold the moisture. So you sweat and then it gets on your cotton shirt and then your cotton shirt expands.
Yeah.
And then if you watch somebody who's just rolled on a like the area that somebody wearing cotton has just rolled, everybody gets sweaty. I'm not, saying that, but when the area, it just leaves a puddle. Mm-hmm. Rash guards hold it, takes it away from your body and it holds it in. Cotton gets it's gross.
And then just the fact that it's a t-shirt and it's in your way and your toes are getting caught, your fingers are getting caught.
Yeah.
And no.
If somebody's mounting you, you get smothered in their nasty, sweaty t-shirt.
Oh, that's so gross.
It totally is.
That's horrible. Thank God we don't have to deal with that very often.
No t-shirts.
I think there's a rule in our gym, right?
Is there? There should be if there's not.
I feel like
I need to implement one.
I feel like there's a rule that no t-shirts. Every once in a while it happens because maybe someone's visiting and they just didn't know, but it's rare that you see anybody.
None of our guys wear t-shirts. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Even visitors.
There will be no t-shirts in my ladies class, I can tell you that.
But some of the other schools I've been to, people come in t-shirts all the time. And I'm like,
No
don't.
bueno. Yeah.
And they have a rash guard underneath. I'm like, just take the fucking shirt off. Sorry, frustrated now.
Like, drop the mic. Boom, I'm out. That's it. That's all I have to say for the day. Yes, Lee.
No, it's just it's interesting how when you find something that you like money doesn't matter as much because
For sure.
Yes.
rash guards are expensive, right?
They
they're
are.
They're not like cheap things to buy.
No, they average around $60.
Yeah.
But
At least
at our gym, because we only wear rash guards. I would imagine at other gyms where you wear gis, the gi is the most important thing. I'm sure everybody has like a collection of gis and, oh, what kind of gi do you have? And, is yours lightweight?
But even so, like when I was doing it, I had gi, but I now I have 3 because I got.
Right.
But that was only because I was very lucky and Joey had an extra one, and then this company sent me one, so I didn't have to pay for it. But I can imagine for someone starting jiu-jitsu, there's a lot of expenses because the school it's not a ton of money, but it's not cheap.
It's not a cheap sport. It's definitely something. It's a lifestyle. You don't just do jiu-jitsu, you join the lifestyle. You're spending money on it. You're buying rash guards, you're buying shorts, you're buying spats, you're paying for competition, you're paying for class, you're paying for, pre-workout, post-workout, all the things that everybody's doing. It's definitely a lifestyle that you're joining.
Do you go to different schools? I'm sorry to interrupt. Like, do you go to do you sign up for different schools? Like go to 10th Planet here, go to here, do
I don't.
a class there? No?
There are some people that do, but I don't.
I did for a little bit, but I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's expensive. If you have memberships at several schools, how much money do you have?
But as far as the rash guards and the what you wear, it's kind of like the gi. You said you own 3 gis and you just wash them and go through that cycle. But you could do the same thing.
Of course you can, but you want them because it's like a fashionable, fun thing.
Yeah.
But it's also like I have 3, and I was never doing 3 in a week. But there's people who, when you love it, you just start going all the time.
Yeah.
And when you're busy, laundry, it's such a bummer to have to
especially if you don't have it in your house.
And then I was doing gis, so they told me never to dry it, so I always had to air dry it. So I had to do it the day before.
Oh, so it wouldn't be if it could not be dry.
I would imagine that's a
that
huge problem with having gis. Luckily, we don't have that problem. It's pretty easy, even if you had to launder your rash guard and spats in a sink. It's pretty easy to hang those up. It's definitely not as big and bulky and cumbersome as a gi.
What are spats?
Tights, leggings.
Oh, okay. They're called spats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Guys call them spats. Girls call them leggings.
Is that short for something? Spats?
I don't know. Maybe, possibly.
Anybody out there?
We should find that out. Twitter us and tell us.
Yeah. But yes, please hang that shit up.
Hang it up. Wash it.
Dry.
Get some vinegar. Get some OxyClean.
Vinegar's cheap. You can afford it.
Bo show. Yeah. What other questions would you, if you were going to ask questions about joining a gym, Lee, what questions would you ask?
Oh, somebody asked me how to pick a school. Sorry. I didn't mean to
no,
jump in on that.
go. How would you say it? How would you pick a school?
How would you go about picking a school?
I'm a really bad person to answer this question because I've only ever trained under Eddie at HQ. So my answer would always be if you want to do 10th Planet, either look for a school close to your house, or if you're close enough to drive to Eddie, perhaps drive to Eddie. It's his system. And then my other answer is just go to the closest 10th Planet. I'm not the best person to answer this question because I never researched anything.
Yeah, me either.
So for me, and I know it's different for you, Donna, because you just jumped right in. But for me, someone who's not an athlete, I really needed an actual program. Yeah. Like a beginner's program. I know they have that now at 10th Planet.
Yeah.
Also for me, which is big, class times.
You know what I would... Okay, so here's the recommendation. If you were just on the street, I want to join jiu-jitsu.
Right.
I would, look up all the schools in your area, find out what they are, who they are. Let's say you live in Los Angeles. You have the opportunity to go train with Cobrinha, Eddie, several other amazing black belts.
Machados.
Yeah, Machados. Thank you. My brain wasn't working. So you have, let's say Eddie, Machado, Cobrinha, and somebody else. And I would say... First, look at their websites and find out what class times work for you. narrow that down to 2.
Because there are some schools that have like mostly day classes, mostly night classes.
And some school, like let's say you're a corporate person, some schools have classes at 6:30 in the morning to accommodate that.
Yeah.
So find the one that has the best schedule suited to you, and then go and watch those classes and see which coach probably would best mesh with your personality. Yeah. Eddie's personality isn't for everybody, and traditional coaches maybe would not be best for a lot of the people in our system, which is why they were attracted to Eddie. So go see whose personality meshes best with your personality, who you feel like you're going to learn the best from, and whose style most speaks to you, and then judge by that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me, because you guys are all thin and healthy, and I know there's a lot of people who like maybe started jiu-jitsu to lose weight or are thinking about it to lose weight. For me, the biggest thing is finding somewhere where you have fun going.
Yeah.
Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to go.
Absolutely.
And the only way to get better, and it's not that I didn't enjoy the school where I was at. It was just there weren't enough class times and the times when I could go. But it all has to mesh together, because if you enjoy it but you can't go, then it's not working. If you can go but you don't enjoy it,
absolutely, you don't want to dread it.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the biggest thing for me. For when because I this is the first couple years of my life that I ever worked out, is you have to find something that you don't dread, because I was dreading everything. Well,
and you know what? Jiu-jitsu might be for you if you're not for you. There's something for everybody.
Right.
Maybe CrossFit speaks to some people. Maybe boxing speaks better to some people.
But there's a lot of people who have never considered jiu-jitsu, and jiu-jitsu is great. So definitely give it a try. At least try it.
Absolutely. I think people would be surprised. I think that it's super intimidating. I can see how somebody from the outside looking at jiu-jitsu could be super intimidated by the prospect of having another person jump on your back and try and choke you, or being tossed over somebody's shoulder, or, whatever, having their arm attempted to be broken. But I feel like we are one of the friendliest sports to beginners, because so much of what you do in jiu-jitsu is counterintuitive to natural movement, that it speaks to being having to just reteach your body everything. Now, doing something like I don't even want to compare it to anything, but it's already weird thinking, oh, I have to, an arm drag or whatever, or going to lockdown and then spinning somebody over the top of your head and mounting them. A lot of those movements are counterintuitive, maybe especially to self-defense. Kind of like boxing. When you first learn how to box, most people's natural reaction when somebody's punching them is to go like this. But in boxing, you learn to go like this. And you come in and you go down and you slip the punch. And same thing when you're learning jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if your body naturally does that, because you're having to learn all new weird movements anyways. So I think it's very friendly to people who maybe have never worked out and weren't athletes in their life and are learning a whole new movement for the first time.
I think you just have to go in there. And for me, because you asked earlier for Becky, is anyone trying to kill you? Technically, they're trying to choke you, but no one, even I used to get intimidated looking at the higher belts. But if you're starting out, that's actually what I would recommend.
Yeah,
go with a higher belt,
100%.
because they're gonna be really cool.
There's nothing to prove,
and not even a blue belt. Sometimes blue belts get a little bit aggressive.
Yeah.
Even a purple or a brown or even a black, if you have one, they'll just go slow, and they'll show you, and you'll once in a while they'll show you that they could do it or show you what it's supposed to feel like, and then you'll start not panic, but it's just oh, okay,
yeah,
they could rip my head off.
Well, they want you. I feel like maybe blue belts, there's still the ego thing that we were talking about, and you're their only prey as a white belt. So it's always better to go with a higher belt if you can, because there's nothing to prove by tapping you out.
Well, and I mean, they should know better. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Of course, even as a blue belt. But yeah, I think the higher the belt, the better to learn from, because they should know how to control. They know how to control their body. They should know how to control their opponent's body and the pressures. And
that's why I love rolling with black belts. There's absolutely nothing I can do to them, but it's still so much fun. They're like wizards. They're like, oh, you want to go that way? That's cool. You want to go that way? That's cool too.
That's
cute. Just pick your poison, and we'll go.
And it wasn't. I'm sure it's not a big deal for you, but I was or am big, so I would always get self-conscious if like they were like neon belly and like my partner's like 110 pounds.
Sure.
But they would always say no, but like actually put it, like they'd tell me to put more on. So it's something that I had to work through. And for other big people, I know it would be like you never want to put all your weight on somebody.
You don't
want
to hurt somebody.
But then like it's kind of weird when they're encouraging it. It's like,
I think it also helps prove that people aren't as fragile as you might think. You know, like even though we're small girls, we're not made of porcelain, and you can go hard on us. We're not going to break.
I know, I was just joking. I just hit Becky, but I realized that it's just
Why are you smacking me?
She's like, what did I do?
What did I do? My phone ring? What
were you going to say, Becky?
No, you mentioned neon belly and not putting it on 100%. I rolled with Eddie last week.
He will put it on 100%. Something that he does not care.
Rarely happens. I trained with him 4 or 5 days a week, and very rarely do I get to roll with him. And last week, he gives zero fucks when it comes to neon belly.
He does
all of his weight, all of his pressure, all of it. That was super fun.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about it either, by the way.
But but you didn't learn, like you weren't like, okay, well, now this is like the worst case scenario, so now I know I have to push it over here and do that, or you just couldn't.
Oh yeah, I could push it wherever the hell I want. He's still gonna fuck me up.
Sometimes you just learn to go with ass kicking. There's nothing you can do about it.
You're just like, I'm just gonna go this way just because I know he's gonna fuck me up that way too.
Especially with somebody at Eddie's level, the ass kicking is inevitable. Oh, yeah. There's nothing you can do about that. Yeah. Your best bet is to see how long you can survive.
Exactly.
What is it like seeing, I don't know if you've ever seen Eddie, but like if you've ever seen like a black belt get tapped, is it like, does the whole room get quiet? Like,
no. Usually our black belts, when they go against each other, it's fun to watch them. Totally. But one of them's going to tap. Yeah. So usually it's just like, damn!
What like, I meant like a purple belt or like even like a blue belt tapped a black belt, or does that just never happen?
Very rarely does that happen, and if it does, you get punished. I mean, not like the person. It's all in good spirit when I say you get punished. I won't say his name, but once upon a time, I was a blue belt. It was before I got promoted, and I caught a brown belt right before he got his black belt. But I caught him. It was legit. I just took him off guard. I did not out technique him or anything. I took him off guard and I caught him. And and it was the beginning of the roll, like the first minute. And for the next 7 minutes, he didn't do anything mean or like he didn't hurt me, but I paid for that tap. Like I got tapped out probably like 6 or 7 times. And he was like, that was legit. Good job. You got me. And I was like, oh, shit.
The one story that always comes to mind was a purple belt. And I hadn't gotten my blue belt yet. Uh-huh. So I was still a white belt. And I was already picking up on the heel hooks. Uh-huh. And I was rolling with he actually, I think he got his purple belt when I got my blue belt. So he might have still been a blue belt then.
Okay.
But definitely stronger than me. My size, but stronger, faster, very, very talented. But I kind of caught him off guard, I think, too.
Yeah.
And I heel hooked him. And it was literally 2 feet in front of Eddie. And he was looking. And I was...
That's the worst.
And, of course, I was like, inside, I was like... But he looked at me and he's like, really, Becky? Right in front of him. And I was like, sorry. I'm pretty sure, though, I've never caught him out. Yeah. Never caught him in anything ever again. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's one of them that breaks me down.
For sure. Yeah. That's how it goes. Like, oh, you got me? Good job.
Never again.
Yeah. Congratulations to you. Enjoy this moment.
Yeah, because you're never going to see it again. Yeah, that
happens to me with a lot of guys.
Oh, that was my part of my little meltdown last week.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm, preparing for things, but I was like, oh, I'm going to roll with, the bigger guys and stuff and the purple belts. And yeah, he was just like, he was being wizard.
He was toying with you.
He was being wizardly. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get my leg through here. I'm going to get my knee through. Nope. Shut down. And I was just like, breathe.
Yeah.
So, like, what was your panic attack? Like, what happened?
It wasn't so much a panic.
She just let the frustration.
It was just frustration.
Come over her.
Yeah.
We all do. I don't know anybody.
It happens
everywhere.
At least
any ladies, but I'm sure with some of the guys. But I don't know any of the ladies that haven't at some point left the mats in tears. it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you're smaller and everybody's stronger. And like, let's say you take 2 equal skill levels and somebody's stronger, they're probably going to win. Yeah. And it's frustrating.
Do you try not to? Though, only because there are more guys there. And just as a guy, girls and guys just react differently. But when you see a girl crying, it's like, ooh, it's like, it's not good. It's like it's not like we're judging you,
right?
But it's like we almost want to help, but then that's not what you want.
Yeah.
So like, do you have to like teach yourself, or like, okay, maybe don't cry?
No,
here.
I think
I've always done everything in my power to not cry on the mat. I've always had this thing of don't cry on the mat. At the very least, if I need to go let it out, I go outside.
Yeah.
Or I go to the locker room or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it on the mat. But last week, it literally in the middle of the roll. That's how bad it got. I was literally
it happens.
The frustration.
At some point, frustration takes over you. It just does. And I think our teammates are really good at being like, "All right, dude, cry it out. It's fucking frustrating. Yeah. Feel that shit, and then get back on the mat." Yeah. So there's a very delicate balance of maybe trying to help somebody and make them feel better and like comforting them, and then being like, "Dude, suck that shit up.
Right.
Get back on the mat and be tough again." So, and I think the girls are probably harder on other girls that are crying that, we'll be like, you good? You feeling it? Okay. Work through your frustration. Feel this. We'll give you a hug. We'll pat you on your back. We'll help you get your breath. But then you got to do it again. So.
That's basically what I was told by someone else when I when I was airing about my frustrations. I told them the situation and they were like, good.
Yeah.
Now when you go up against, blue belt to your size, you're going to be fine. I'm like,
I did something I haven't done in a long time. I tapped out of panic last week. Who? I was not in a I tapped out of panic. It was really, really hot in the room. So I was already overheating and I got mounted and she was on top of me and like smushing my face and her boobs were like smushing my face and I couldn't breathe. And normally you go, okay, this is uncomfortable. I'm just going to wait until she does something and I'll counter and I'll get out of mount or I'll whatever. But I don't know the last time I panicked, but I panicked and I tapped and she was like, what? And immediately I got pissed off at myself. I was like, ah.
Was it Jen?
Yeah.
I did that to her. That happened to me once too. Like maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, I just panicked.
A little more than last year. Sometime.
It hasn't happened in years.
Her boobs were smashing my face, and I was like, I can't. I wasn't able, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to even turn my head to at least, get some oxygen somewhere else. I'm like, I can't breathe. I can't tap.
Yeah.
She's like, what? And I'm like, your boobs.
Yeah. I have no idea what happened. There's a million things that I could have done to get myself out of that situation, but I hadn't eaten properly, so I had no gas. I was tired. It was hot. It was like my third roll. It like there was just all these things that I panicked. And I don't know the last time that happened. It happens, but I was like, I got so pissed off at myself.
Apparently, there's a name for that submission. I don't really know if it's. I don't remember. And the word "broad" is in it. That's the funny thing. It's something like that. It starts with a B.
Really?
Rob knows it. He's
okay. I'll ask him. Yeah, but I was so pissed at myself. That happens. Yeah.
I've done it. The same person. Yeah. So maybe that should
Her boobs aren't even that big. I mean, they're nice. Jen, you got nice boobs.
But they're not that big.
They're not giant.
Yeah, they're not big old boobs that should be like suffocating people either. So I feel like that should be her thing then. She needs to work on that. Or like keep doing that. That could totally be a thing then. Boob smotherage.
It would be like a legit submission, right? You just like.
I would imagine like if you can't grab the person's back of their head and like just smush them into your boobs
and they can't
like, just suffocate them.
And especially if you're like 4 or 5 minutes into the into the roll.
Yeah, it was like the perfect storm for me.
You're out of breath already.
Yeah, you're hot. You can't breathe. This person's on top of you. It was the perfect storm.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You right there?
No, I'm recovering from all that boob talk. I was trying real hard to be professional and like not bring it up.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We're here for you.
I appreciate it.
Hey, boobs happen.
Yeah.
You get sweat. You get other people sweat in your mouth. You pull their hair out of your mouth. Boobs go in your face all the time. It happens. That might be a selling point. You want to do jujitsu? Boobs go in your face.
They will be in your face. But so will asses, so will balls,
will
vaginas.
That's true.
Everything.
Yeah.
So
it's all there.
and they're all going to be sweaty when it happens.
Yeah.
So don't, there's that.
It is scary the first time like you start like getting not even choked, but it happened to Sage Northcutt a couple months ago in the UFC. He just couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And the guy, so
even if you are heavily trained, when somebody's choking you, like for example, and you're in a rear naked choke, you're about to die. Somebody's trying to kill you. And even if you're heavily trained, maybe a lot of those things, like I just mentioned, you're tired, you've cut weight, there's all this adrenaline pumping, blah, 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 blah. It's perfectly reasonable to think that somebody might panic in that situation, even though you've been trained, because you're about to die and your body knows you're about to die. And that's just is what's happening. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you suck and you're a horrible person and you're not well trained. There's a whole bunch of factors that could have led up to you having a moment of panic.
So do you train to like fight to not tap, or is it just
no? If somebody gets a submission and you tap.
Well, no, but there's some
you learn to defend.
Well, there are some. Well, maybe be the UFC then.
You should. The whole point of training is knowing when to defend and when to tap.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say somebody's arm is fully sunk in on your neck, and there's no way you can get any of your fingers, or you can't turn your head or tuck your chin or do anything to defend it.
You're done. Tap.
That's when it's time to tap.
But okay, so let's say I don't know. Let's say there's 30 seconds, 25 seconds left in your tournament match, and then they get it in.
It depends
on how deep
depends on how deep it is and what the position is.
But so even if it was super deep, you wouldn't try to fight it if you had 25 seconds left?
It depends on the situation.
If the choke is in the way she was just describing it,
25 seconds is plenty of time for you to lose consciousness.
You're going to be out of, you're going to be asleep.
Have 10 seconds, maybe.
Okay, so what do you do for 10 seconds then?
Then 10 seconds, you just hang on and try not to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But 25 seconds, you're going to sleep.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But so there's no way to really train to fight it. It's just you get more comfortable through the panic.
I don't think, maybe I'm wrong on this, and maybe somebody who knows more than me can, but it's not. I mean, yes, you can train not to panic. That's the whole point of training, is to get you not to panic because somebody's trying to kill you. But you can't train yourself for certain situations. You know what I mean?
I mean, someone has you in some sort of leg lock and a heel hook or something. You can try and clinch onto their arm to keep them from sinking something in deeper.
It really depends. Every situation is so different in how they have the submission in and what the submission is.
And how good the person is at finishing.
If they're yanking it, are they a person that's just holding onto it and like slightly going into it? Or are they about to tear your heel off and your knee is going to come with it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
What's more important?
Yeah. How much is your ego worth?
I mean, going to sleep is going to sleep. You're going to be fine with that. But when it comes to actually an injury, what's more important? Those 10 seconds or your knee?
And it also depends. In a tournament that you paid $65 or $75 or $85 to be in, tap. Because you've paid to be there and you want to be able to train tomorrow. Are you in the UFC and maybe there's,
thousands,
$25,000, $50,000 on the line? That maybe you hold on a little bit longer than the average person would, as we see fighters do all the time, because there's something completely different at stake for them than a person who's just joined a tournament for fun and this is their hobby.
Yep.
What's at stake for you? What's the difference? You know what I mean? Do you need to be able to walk tomorrow? Probably tap.
Is there? Would you tap quicker to like a leg thing than a choke? Because the choke you're just gonna pass out.
It just depends on the submission.
It depends on where it's at and how much you can defend. How much you can defend?
Yeah,
it.
like an arm bar might hurt way more than a choke.
That's what I'm saying. So like maybe tap earlier to an arm bar, but a choke, you're like, well, if I pass out, they'll just wake me up.
I don't know. I wouldn't want to pass. I don't want to
pass out.
That's not
either.
something.
Have you passed out?
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh. When I first started, everyone told me that it's just gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm. I've gotten to the point of like everything's all wah,
yeah,
and I'm like I tap and I let go and I'm like I need a second to just kind of let the blood flow, but never actually passed out.
I'm like, I felt it coming on and I tapped. I don't want to pass out.
Or you can feel like,
and I put somebody to sleep before and it freaks you out.
Oh,
what happens? They just go limp.
Yeah, so we were drilling Japanese neckties, and Japanese neckties, and I had this guy in it, and he was slightly new to the class. I don't know if he knew he had to tap. I don't know what his deal was, but I had him in it, and I kept sinking it in, expecting him to tap, and he didn't. And then I thought he was like chilling, just that maybe I didn't have it in deep enough, so I kept putting it in deeper. And then all of a sudden I heard his neck go, and I was like, and I just let go, and he fell back, and his eyes were open, and he was like, but he was out, and he was going, and I just started to freak out. And then when he came to, I was like, why didn't you tap? And he was like, I didn't know. I don't know what happened, but it was not a cool feeling. I felt horrible that I did that to this person.
Of course.
So I would so much rather have you tap and have us continue to roll. Not cool in my book.
Do you think that's why you don't want to pass out? Because I've seen people get tapped and they don't have like the whole spasm thing. Like, do you think that just freaked you out maybe?
I don't think that specifically, just the idea of being choked. So here's the thing. People want to argue with me that being put to sleep in a choke isn't bad for you, but and you know what? Let's call my brother. He's a doctor, or call any doctor. The reason you passed out is because you've just cut off oxygen to your brain. It is never a good idea to cut off oxygen to your brain. That's a bad thing.
Blood, depending on
blood,
a blood
and
choke.
you need these things for your brain to function. So yeah, maybe going to sleep for a couple seconds isn't going to cause long-term damage if it happens once.
But
if it's something
if
that's
you're
happening
repeatedly
regularly,
doing that, yeah.
there's no way that that's a good thing, and that it doesn't have any effect on your body. So I'm not really interested in continually cutting off oxygen to my brain. I'm not the smartest person in the whole wide world anyway, so I'd like to keep whatever brain that I do have.
No, that makes sense. I luckily never got tapped out. That would oh no, I got tapped out. I never got choked out. That would have been, must be really weird to wake up.
I would imagine you kind of don't know where you are.
We're gonna get guests on soon, so we should probably get someone eventually who's been tapped out. Like,
I
choked
can't
out.
imagine that's gonna be that hard. I mean, it's pretty common.
Yeah.
I
feel like it's kind of weird that neither of us have, like, you have two people in a room doing jiu-jitsu that have not been put to sleep.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
Kita almost put me to sleep once.
Let me guess, a triangle?
Yeah. Girlfriend has some serious thighs. They're gorgeous. Serious thighs. And
Don't get caught in her triangle.
No,
You're
she
fucked.
can get anybody in a triangle, and it's horrible. So it was when she first started, and I was teaching her the triangle. This is the best part. I was teaching her the triangle. She didn't even do it right. So she had me, and she had her legs locked on the other side. But her thighs are so strong, she was like, "Roar!" and like just squeezing. And I started to talk. I went, "You have to put your," and I felt myself going to sleep, and I had to tap. So yeah.
So you can finish.
So then I was like,
legs.
so I was like, so that was really good. That wasn't actually correct. What you want to do is put your legs on the other side, but apparently you can do it any way you want.
So have at it. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You were saying earlier, like, we were talking about, like, how if you find something that you like, you get really into it. How long did it take you guys to realize, okay, this is something that I really am enjoying? Like, was it the first class, or did it take a few months, or
Bex?
I mean, as far as, I kind of look at my jiu-jitsu journey in a couple phases at this point. But when I first started, first I didn't even want to try it. I was like, this is for boys. This is not for me. It's just not my thing.
This is for boys, and boys are yucky.
But I finally gave in, and I remember coming back from that first class thinking, this is pretty cool, actually. I like it. I want to keep doing it. And I trained really hard, and I got really into it. But then I ended up taking a break for a good portion of a year and a half to 2 years. I mean, there was some training that had happened during that time, but it was very sporadic until the point of nothing at all. But it was in that time that I realized how much I loved it. I was working a job that didn't allow me much time, and plus what was going on in that job was kind of hindering my time outside of working to be able to get to class. Mm-hmm. And I remember so many different times being down the street from the gym because I was working. Mm-hmm. And thinking, oh, it's Tuesday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, there's class going on right now. And I would think about Eddie, because I always felt like when I wasn't training, I felt like I disappointed him. Mm-hmm. And I'd be in my car crying, thinking...
He was probably in his car crying that you weren't training too.
I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
But I would be that upset thinking that I let him down, because he used to always say, just don't stop training.
Yeah.
Like, that's especially with the girls. I feel like
Yeah.
that he always says,
Yeah,
just
the
please
girls.
don't
He's like,
stop.
just please keep coming back. 'Cause
Yeah.
you'll get it at some point.
And I wasn't going, and I missed it, and I realized how much I missed it and how much I loved it when I wasn't doing it. So that's why when I came back, it's been like full fledged. And now I'm like, fuck you. Now I'm gonna shape my life around making sure I can get to class and my
That's
schedule
legit.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It didn't take me long to get obsessed with it. I was already obsessed with training at the time at Legends MMA. So we had Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu and all of MMA there. And I was already taking Muay Thai and MMA classes for fun. And so then when I started taking Eddie's class, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I just kept showing up every day. I just knew it was awesome.
What was it like for you then when Becky stopped coming? Like, what didn't they...
We didn't train together back then. She was at a different 10th planet than me.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
and then I eventually I was at HQ also.
But you would go to the night classes and I would be at the day classes.
She'd be
Yeah.
day. Yeah. So it wasn't until last year when I came back that we really started.
I mean, we
training
knew
together.
each other. We'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, but we did never train together.
The only time I'd ever see her was
like at events and stuff.
at the 10th anniversary party or at the Metamoris after party or things like that. The Christmas parties or holiday parties. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would really, I don't think I went to a class with you up until last year. I don't remember ever being in a
I think
class.
maybe once.
Maybe once.
Yeah. And I was like, "You want to roll?" And you're like, "I have to go to work. Bye."
Or I was probably like, I was hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what... And I know we're getting close to the end, but just to finish it up, what kind of family do you guys have with jiu-jitsu? Like, you've done all this talking about how people are so welcoming and they're not going to choke you out or they'll teach you this. Like,
No, they will choke you out.
They'll choke you out, but like they're not like. So what family have you grown since you start? Like, how important is it to you? Like the ones who go to the same classes or all that stuff.
Oh, we're definitely a family. I mean, they're my social circle too. My husband does jiu-jitsu now, and it's totally our social circle. Yeah, these guys are absolutely my family. 10th Planet is my family.
That and there's also, I mean, again, we're lucky because we're at HQ and there's people that come from around the world to come visit us.
So
and
then we
train
get to
with
hang
us.
out with them. That's
so now
always fun.
We know people we're friends with people all over the world. I can go, if I wanted to fly to Australia tomorrow and go visit Melbourne, probably, I have friends there that are going to help me out.
Yeah.
I can go to Germany. Probably the same thing's going to happen.
That's it. You actually get a family when you, and I would imagine that other teams are like this too, not just 10th Planet, but that's really our only reference since that's the school that we train with.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
that's what comes along with the team is you all become friends on Facebook and you'll start commenting on each other's pages and you start talking to each other. So then when somebody's like, "Oh, I'm going to be in town for this," or "I'm going to be on vacation," oh, make sure you stop by and train. And
I've actually visited other schools and have had people,
it's an amazing addition to your life. Like I said, you join a lifestyle, and the gift that you get with that is not only this amazing sport, but this really cool group of people that you come to care for come along with it, and they're usually awesome. Yeah.
I mean, we refer to each other as brothers and sisters for a reason.
And I know Joe's said this. Joe and Eddie. Excuse me, Eddie said this on Joe's podcast, that jiu-jitsu is a douchebag filter. Like, usually if you're the type of person that just can't check your ego enough to learn the sport, you're not going to last long in it. So if you've been around long enough to be training for a while, you've been filtered and you're cool. There's very few people that aren't cool in the sport.
A couple people have don't make it through.
Yeah, a couple people don't make it through, and a couple people
or they make it through the filter and are still douchebags, but
they are. But that's life. You know what I mean? There's always going to be people that aren't great, but
the majority of people
is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So where can they find you guys?
They can find me at DonnaGonzales.com, DAWNAGONZALES. All of my social links are on there, and the mat therapy is up there now, and all the good stuff. So find me, follow me.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Bex and Violence on all three. Also, we just started our mat therapy podcast page on Facebook, so please go on there and like it. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us out. Be awesome.
Also, last thing is if you want to go float, go to justfloat.com. Use MT50 for 50% off.
Your first
float.
And
go get your float on.
What's the website? Is there a website?
Justfloat.com.
Just Float, and it's in Pasadena, correct?
It's in Pasadena.
Yeah.
Yep. Promo code MT50. You get half off your first float.
Lee, if they want to find you, where can they find you?
LeeSyatt.com. LeeSyatt. Wow, I just said it the wrong way, just out of people saying it the wrong way so many. It's LeeSyatt.com. SYAT. I don't know why I said it like that. That's crazy. Well, this was fun, guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
I feel like I need to have a website too.
You do. People. Make one.
Maybe. I feel so left out.
You're left out.
Anyway.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
Peace
everyone.
out, bitches.